This is the Inokim Light 2. I've done a couple other videos I'll link throughout already about this scooter. There's going to be some details down in the description. We're going to go into the build, performance, what I like and don't like. We're going to get right into it, but make sure and like and subscribe. It helps out the channel. And leave a comment. So one of the first things about this scooter, of course, you'll notice is the color. This is their green color. It's more of an avocado. There's a number of different colors. I bought this myself. I don't have any affiliation with Inokim or anything like this. And it's a pretty cool color. Oddly, everything is color matched, the rear fender, except the front rim. It's just black, and it looks like that is on all the options. So sort of interesting. You got a couple of red accents in here. It's a real sharp looking scooter. So one of the most interesting things on this scooter is right here in the deck. First I thought maybe I had a bad scooter. So they actually form the deck with a little bit of a bend in here, so it brings your center of gravity. And if you can kind of see here, your center of gravity is actually below the deck level of the scooter. So it makes for a very, very stable scooter. We got a good sized deck here, wide enough for a compact scooter that you can actually put your feet side by side, which is really great. We got an 8.5 inch front pneumatic air tire, which is supposed to help with the ride a little bit. Your charge port's right here. There's a 36 volt 10 amp hours in the deck of the scooter. Notice you don't have a whole lot of clearance, and your deck is really low, which you have a trade-off for clearance purposes, but it enables you to be able to kick to help this scooter off the line and up hills. We got a number of reinforcements here on the stem. There still is some movement in the stem. You can take some of that out of here with this mechanism, but it doesn't work that well. You can get it really tight and it makes it hard to fold down, but it doesn't really make this any more stable. So there's a little movement in the stem. I personally don't think that's an issue, but if you're somebody that's sensitive to that, you should know about it. So coming to the other side of the scooter, of course you have your fend here with the integrated light that works. When you hit the lever, it actually actuates. There's actually two modes. One of the brake levers makes it flash. The other one doesn't make it flash. You got your motor in here with a drum brake. So a drum brake is nice because it's very protected from the elements, but you don't get quite as much extreme braking force as you might with a disc brake. This rear tire looks just like the front tire, but it is filled with foam. It is hard to even tell it's filled with foam, but it's great from a flat side, not to really have to worry about flats back here where your motor is. These little disconnects are where you access the bolts to remove the rear wheel. Inokim supplies all those instructions for the maintenance of this scooter in the manual. So it's like a scooter that's built to be maintained, which is really unusual. Most scooters are really built more as disposable items. This one does not feel like it. It feels like a quality piece of equipment. One of the best things about a small scooter like this actually has a little pass-through right here for locking it up. So you can run a U-lock through here, a cable lock, whatever you want to do. I recommend a pretty substantial lock because you paid a good amount of money for this scooter. The folding mechanism has a couple interesting features. One is this, where you can use this to make it so there's no way while you're riding, if you were to even hit this, you could not, it blocks that folding pin from coming out. To fold the scooter, you just have to use your foot or your hand right up there and push forward at the same time. And it has like a kind of a, I don't know what you call mode. It kind of will stand up a little bit, kind of in this position, assuming you have the kickstand down, but I don't have flat ground right here. And then one more press on this brings it down to the locked position. A couple interesting notes on the Inokim scooter. Very robust clamp mechanism, but even though it is a adjustable stem, it really only has one locked position. So the dimensions of that will be down in the description or on the screen. And when you can see here, when you push the stem down, these cables feed up. I've had a little concern that over time this is going to maybe bind up. So I tend to leave the stem all the way out and usually just collapse the handlebars. So build-wise, the Inokim Light 2 is built, it feels like a premium scooter. It really does. Though it doesn't feel like a robust scooter. So hopefully you understand the difference. It feels well built, but maybe not rigidly built. So if you're pushing the upper end of the weight limit on this scooter, which is either 220 or 265, I can't remember right now, I think you might start to have some, it might start to break down a little bit on you. But if you're a lighter rider, this is a really nice kind of last mile option. or not a last mile option. I just got done riding it almost 12 miles. This might be my favorite thing on this scooter, the handlebars. You got a little gentle sweep, makes it a little bit better on your hands and wrists. You do have a bell, and you have a really odd thing where you have a motor cutoff on the left and no motor cutoff on the right. I don't exactly know why they did it that way, but I asked Inokim and they said that is their intention. The display here is really nice. I can actually see it with my polarized glasses. It's the old style LCD, very easy in controls. Power button takes you through the different menu items. A simple long hold on the negative button resets your trip. That's a relief. Up and down for your assist levels, so you can go up or down. You can't go past it and you come back down to it. I think that's great. And you have basically a combo thumb and twist throttle. You can kind of use it more than one way, so that's pretty awesome. So performance wise, scooter from an acceleration standpoint does just fine. I'll put on stats on the screen. And braking also quite good with the dual drum brakes. It doesn't tend to lock them up and you don't tend to skid as much. And having the same type of traction pattern in the front and the rear really makes your handling and your braking consistent. Handling is probably the best thing on this scooter. You can actually, when you get cruise control to engage, which can be a little tricky, you can actually just kind of lightly rest your hands on the handlebars, and it just makes it for a really nice kind of cruising scooter. The only downside in performance, it's not really a good hill climber. I didn't make it up the hill. I've made it up on almost every other scooter, but the deck is so low that in a non-testing scenario, you could just kind of kick along and help it. That's also what I recommend for taking off. And for extra fast takeoffs, you can actually hold the throttle down, then use the kick to start feature, and you get a pretty dang fast takeoff if you want to do that. Even though this is just a 36 volt scooter with a 350 watt motor here in the back, you end up having a lot of efficiency. The range is actually quite good. At 175 pounds myself, I'm getting between 18 and 20 miles of range. That's riding either all out in assist level 2 or all out in assist level 3. Top speed is right about the 20 mile an hour mark. Even though I have it set for 21, I don't quite get there, but I get pretty close. So I'm gonna dive right into the things I like and don't like. So what don't I like on the scooter? I actually wish the ride was a little bit better. There's no suspension, so it's a little rough. If you have smooth pavement, you're golden, but if you have some rough pavement, it's a little bit of a challenge. You have to make sure that light grip you can have on the handlebars has to tighten down substantially on bumpier terrain. Like I was talking about the cable, the way it moves with the stem going down, I kind of wish there were multiple positions on the stem setting. I wish the front tire was also foam. I don't notice much of a difference in comfort from the front to the rear, and I'd rather have no chances of flats at all, especially on this last mile solution type of scooter. My last thing I don't like is a charge port. It's actually hard to get back in there, and it's facing directly upward. So if you're going to ride this in questionable weather, that might actually become an issue at some point. One of the other things I don't like as much on this scooter from a portability standpoint, it's a little heavier than advertised. It's by about 2 pounds, and the cross section of this bar is very large. It's oblong for strength, but that makes it more difficult for grip. So this thing's a little bit hard to carry. If you have smaller hands, it's going to be more of an issue. So I tend to leave it in the folded position and push it and fold it last minute, which is pretty quick and easy to do once you've done it a few times. So what do I like on this scooter? The throttle and display, I love it. I think this is the best one on any scooter. And then the balance of not knowing if your hand comes off the handlebar, you're not going to be eating pavement. That's the way on a lot of scooters. I have done it once, and my hands are usually locked on the handlebars, but it's nice to be able to, just not always have to worry about that. Other things I just like the range, and at the end of the range, you can still go about 18 miles per hour. The range on this really impresses me for a smallish scooter like this. The powder coating on this thing is robust. This went over driveways. It's scraped some pavement. The powder coating just seems to be beefy. It hasn't really scratched up too much at all. All in all, this is a really solid scooter. For where I ride, I kind of wish it had a little bit more supple ride, but that's a minor thing. And that's going to be a case with any scooter without suspension like this. So, the Inokim Light tube, I bought it. I'm not sorry I bought it. It's a good little unit, especially if you're running around town like I'm doing right now. I'm right next to Sutter's Fort here in Sacramento, California. So again, like and subscribe, helps the channel out. I appreciate it. Leave a comment. That's awesome. Thanks a lot. Peace out. I think I realized I had more don't likes than do likes. Don't take it personally, Inokim. I like the scooter. I'm just nitpicky.